Welcome to episode 262 of Angela Watson's Truth for Teachers. I'm your host, Angela Watson, and I'm here to speak encouragement into the hearts of educators and get you informed and energized for the week ahead. Today, I'm talking about the 3-day weekend mindset and encouraging you to shift the way you think about your time each week. Visit truthforteachers.com to get an easy-to-read, easy-to-share version of this podcast episode. I first started the podcast back in 2015, and nearly 300 episodes later, I am proud to say there's a wealth of helpful information available to you. But you don't have time to listen to 300 episodes. How do you know you didn't miss out on something great a while back? What if there's something you need to hear right now that I haven't talked about in a while? Enter the new Truth for Teachers playlists. I have carefully curated the episodes I'm most proud of and that I think will help you the most from our 7 years of podcasting. Choose from the Greatest Hits playlist, the Encouragement playlist, the Productivity playlist, or the Student Engagement playlist. Just go to truthforteachers.com/playlists and enter your email address to receive the one you want. I'll send you a PDF with a description of each episode, a link to its blog post, and a link to the MP3 file for listening. The PDF also shares some special bonuses and other related resources that I think you might like. I hope this helps you find the best of our Truth for Teachers podcast. Just go to truthforteachers.com/playlists. So our topic today is the 3-day weekend mindset. And this is an idea that I've been thinking about, and I'm going to just kind of bounce it off of you here. This is going to be a more informal episode again, where I'm just sort of sharing some things that I've been thinking. And I want to see if you find it as useful as it has been for me. So what if you were able to have a 3-day weekend every week? Wouldn't that be amazing? Like, when you have a 3-day weekend, it just feels like you have enough time for the things that you need to get done. You get time for rest and you get time to do things at home and sort of catch up on things too. Now, obviously, you still need to show up to school 5 days a week. You still need to do your best each day. You can't actually have a 3-day weekend. But I want to talk about how all time is not created equally. This is something that Lisa Woodruff of Organized 365 spoke about recently on her podcast. It's episode 500 of her Organized 365 podcast. She was doing a book review on a title called The Slight Edge, and it was about productivity, consistency, just lots of good stuff there. But she was talking about how all time is not created equally. And this is something that both Lisa and I have learned from Laura Vanderkamp, who is a productivity specialist. She's discussed this as well. And this is what we mean by all time not being created equally. Notice how on your summer break, June 15th feels differently than July 15th, right? You're not working either day, let's say if that's part of your summer break. But knowing that you still have weeks ahead of you before the school year start makes the day feel different than, right before the school year is about to start again. And that impacts your productivity, your mood, and how you use your time. Similarly, think about how time feels differently on a Monday morning than it does on a Saturday morning. It's the same amount of hours, but it feels different. Think about how a Sunday night feels different than a Thursday night. And this all leads us to this 3-day weekend mindset that I'm playing around with. It's just something for you to experiment with and see if this little mindset hack works for you. I've found that staying positive and energized and motivated is really about just experimenting with these little things. They work for a while sometimes and they stop working, then I come back to them. So consider this just one tool in your motivation toolbox when you're exhausted and you're overwhelmed and you feel like work is sort of consuming your whole life. You can't dig your way out of everything that needs to be done. Try this. Part of the reason that a standard 2-day weekend feels too short is that we're trying to cram too much in. We have 5 days of hustle and grind and only 2 days to get all the house projects done, our errands, our shopping, our resting, our socialization. It's really unbalanced, right? 5 days of work and 2 days off. We need a longer weekend. And I'm happy to report that a lot of schools are moving to a 4-day week. It saves the district money, it makes teachers happier and increases morale. And if it is done in I don't want to say a correct way, because there's no one correct way to educate kids, but if it is done in a way that focuses on what's most impactful for kids, then it's actually good for them too. And I'm all about the overlap between what's best for teachers and what's best for kids. Love the actual 4-day week. Think that's a great goal for more districts to move toward. But even if your district is still doing the 5-day week, you can still mentally shift in that direction. So we've got this weekend that is too short. And also, it only allows you to really get one good night for having fun or for rest, right? Friday night, you're tired. You've been working all week. A lot of times, especially as you get older, you don't want to go out anymore on Friday night. You just sort of collapse on the couch. Even if you want to go out, you just don't have the energy for it. Sunday night, you're already planning for the week ahead. You might be doing some school stuff. You might be doing meal prep. Sunday night really doesn't feel like part of the weekend. Even if you get to do something fun and relaxing on Sunday afternoon, you may feel a little bit of those Sunday scaries or dread the Sunday blues as you think about going back to work the next morning. So this process is about extending the weekend in your mind a little bit. We already know that Sunday night is basically a wash. If it's not a wash for you, if you're able to enjoy your weekend right up until the moment you drift off into a nice, peaceful sleep, that's great. You just get an even longer weekend. But for most of us, Sunday night is prep and prepare night, whether we like it or not. Personally, I find it easier to work with my natural tendencies than to fight against them. On Sunday evenings, I do like to plan ahead for the week, so I just kind of lean into that. If, therefore, we want to have a 3-day weekend mindset, and we know that Sunday night doesn't really count, then we have to start the clock sooner. We need to start it on Thursday night. So Thursday then kind of feels like Friday, the crashing night, right? That's a time to recuperate from the week and start to get into weekend mode. Friday night then feels like a full weekend night and we can completely enjoy it. Saturday and Saturday night are a great weekend day. We can catch up on stuff. We can get things done. And then we have Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon to rest and rejuvenate and do fun things. Now, obviously, the way that you use your time over your weekend might look different than that, but it's one possibility. The main idea here is that you can think of your weekend as starting on Thursday night and going until Sunday night. So, Thursday evening, do something fun. Do something that makes it feel like the weekend is arriving. Maybe you can go out to happy hour with your colleagues for an hour. Try that on Thursdays instead of Fridays or, some special occasion. Try to do that just, a short amount of time. Or maybe you have coffee after school with your best friend on Thursday evening. Or maybe you take a class at the community center. Or you spend time on a hobby. It could be a very short period of time. It could be just something you do for 30 minutes. But the idea is that you're doing something on Thursday evening that you look forward to that you would normally only make time for on a weekend. Maybe there's a class, at your gym or a yoga class or something that you would normally do on Saturday morning. See if there's a Thursday evening one. Try that. Use this fun Thursday activity, even if it's just something you do around your house, getting to read a favorite book or watch your shows. Do something fun on Thursday night that makes you feel like it's a weekend. Truly relax. Try not to bring any work home that night and kind of start getting into this fun weekend mindset, right? Because a big part of the fun of a weekend is the anticipation. It's being able to look forward to it. Just like with a vacation, right? Anticipating the vacation, looking forward to it, knowing that it's coming makes it even better when it actually arrives. So use your Thursday for that anticipation. Now, Friday, you're still going to have to go to school, obviously, but what you're going to do is you're going to stay in that weekend mindset and schedule in lots of fun and enjoyable things. Now, this is the natural structure of the work week for many teachers anyway, particularly at the elementary level. Friday is traditionally the day where there might be extra recess if the class earned it. There might be additional center time, a day for learning games. It might be a day where you're giving a lot of tests and quizzes in the morning, and then in the afternoon they get to do something fun. Maybe they watch a movie or they play some kind of educational game. And this makes sense because, again, we want to lean into our natural tendencies, work with them rather than against them. Friday is the day where your students are likely to have less concentration anyway. They're already thinking about the weekend. They've already been coming to school and focusing, concentrating 5 days in a row. They are ready for a break. And as I said from the beginning, time feels differently at different times of the day, of the week, of the month, of the year. Friday at 12 noon feels very different from Tuesday at 12 noon. So to work with this natural tendency of your students, do fun things on Friday as much as you can, even if they're short. Do a little 2-minute dance break in your class at the end of the period or right after lunch. I'm talking about little easy things that give your classroom a celebratory mood on Fridays. Where like we did it. We did 5 entire days of working hard together and now we're celebrating. Now, I know there's someone listening to this who's thinking, oh, I'm in a school that every second of the day has to be packed with rigorous learning activities. And if my principal walks in and we're doing something fun, I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, get creative. Teach your lesson outside and have kids use chalk on the pavement instead of a worksheet in the classroom. Figure it out. Get creative. Do your science experiments on Friday. Do your hands-on learning on Friday. Find the fun, engaging, worthwhile, meaningful learning experiences. Not a break from learning, part of the learning. Do them on Fridays so that you have something to look forward to, and so do the kids. Most of us are naturally less productive on Fridays anyway. Roll with it. So this will make Friday something in our 3-day weekend mindset to look forward to. Even though you do have to get up early and you do have to go to work, at least it's a fun day of work. See if you can do things on Fridays that make you feel like you do on the days when there's an assembly or when it's a half day. Those days when you know it's going to be a lighter load or a more fun day, think about that mindset and see how you can make Friday more like that. And again, just to be clear, because I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying, I'm not saying you don't teach on Fridays. I'm not saying you waste a day of learning for your students every single Friday. What I am saying is consider the things in your curriculum and in your weekly schedule that you and your students love doing and put them on a Friday. Infuse more joy, more playfulness, more creativity, more projects, all of the awesome stuff, load up Friday with it. Obviously, we want to also make the rest of the week fun too. But when we're talking about mindset, having a day where you know is going to be something to look forward to really does change the way that you perceive time. I'll come back to that idea. On Fridays, after dismissal, you're going to go home. Check back to episode 259, which was about setting a target number of hours to work. That will help you figure out how to decide in advance when you're going to work. So you can decide, I will go in early on Monday, I'll stay late on Wednesday, and so on. And that way you're not just working until everything is done. You're actually deciding how much time you're willing to devote to work. When you use this process, you can decide, I'm not going to work Friday afternoons. In fact, you can choose not to work from Friday afternoon until Sunday evening if you like. Or even, let's get really wild here and imagine that you don't work from Friday afternoon until Monday morning. I know, inconceivable, right? So you leave on Friday. Maybe you even have a really awesome principal like I've had that used to let us go occasionally on Fridays a little early right after the students were gone instead of making us stay our full contractual hours. But even if you don't, leave right on time whenever your contractual hours are up and go start your weekend. Do whatever it takes on Friday to really get yourself in that weekend mood. Celebrate all the hard work that you've done. Listen to upbeat music in the car, something that makes you happy and that brings up good memories. It gives you energy. Do tacos or pizza, something fun at home for dinner, something you and your family or your whoever you share your living space with really enjoy. Whatever feels like a fun Friday night tradition for you, do it. Doesn't have to be the same thing every single week, but have something fun on Friday night to look forward to as well. So we've talked about what to do Thursday, not bringing work home, start doing something small to ease yourself into celebration weekend mode. Make your school day on Friday as enjoyable as possible. Do as much fun stuff as you can. Do something fun on Friday night. Now we're at Saturday. I don't really need to tell you how to enjoy your Saturday. You've already got that down. So let's move on now to Sunday. Sunday, you can either get stuff done, you can rest, whatever you'd like to do, and then set a time for yourself on Sunday evening if you need to get ahead for the week. It doesn't have to be the same time that you start doing this every single week, but on Sunday morning, when you start to feel that dread about Monday, that little bit of panic, like, oh, I need to do these things to get ready, tell yourself, I'm going to stay in my weekend mindset until, let's say, 4 p.m. At 4 p.m., that's when I'll start doing the laundry or planning out clothes for the week, checking my kids' planners, whatever it is you need to do to get ready for Monday morning. If you need to lesson plan or grade papers and you're choosing to do that on a weekend, that's the time. But you have until 4 p.m. Sunday, if that's when you chose, to really enjoy yourself, to take a true 3-day weekend mindset. So every time you start to think about how much you need to get done, tell yourself, I will get it done. It's going to get done today. I'm starting at 4 p.m. And until then, I'm going to be present in whatever I'm doing right now. So you may need to start a little earlier than 4 some weeks. Some weeks you may not need to start till after dinner. You might not start till 7 or 8, 9 p.m. Just a few little things. Spend a half hour, mentally preparing. Personally, on Sunday night, I like to look at my to-do list for the week ahead and wrap my head around what's coming up. What are my busy times? What errands do I have? Do I have appointments scheduled that may or may not be happening? Are there things that I thought were going to be going on this week that actually aren't? And just kind of moving things around and figuring out what my week is going to look like and when I need to be energized. What are my busy times? What are my slower times? And so on. Doing that on Sunday night helps me feel more prepared on Monday morning. I sleep better on Sunday night because I've already mapped out my week. My brain is not still going when I'm trying to sleep, and I'm not waking up on Monday morning in a panic like, okay, I feel like I'm behind the 8 ball. So for me, that Sunday night preparing it's so worth it. I love having that time. If you don't like to do that on Sunday night, you can do it Monday morning. But by that time, I'm usually in go mode. I'm not in planning mode. And one of the most important principles of productivity is to separate the planning from the execution. So thinking about how you want to use your time making your plan is different from uses a different part of the brain than when you're actually executing the plan, when you're actually doing it. So by the time Monday morning rolls around, I'm already on execution mode, right? Like I'm already executing the plan. Things are in motion, things are happening. Sunday night is a quieter time. It's a calmer time. It's better to actually think things through, not doing anything, thinking and planning. So when you do go into school on Monday morning, you now know you've had a 3-day weekend. You're refreshed because you've been really enjoying your life fully for the last 3 days. From Thursday night, you enjoyed your whole day Friday, you enjoyed your whole day Saturday, and you enjoyed the whole day Sunday up until Sunday evening. Now it's Monday morning, and having that true break from work, coupled with mapping out your week and knowing what you needed to do as of Sunday night, that's going to help you get your stuff done on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Those are going to be your main work days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's when, if you need to, you'll go in early, you'll stay late, you'll bring work home, whatever you need to do to make sure you can take that 3-day weekend. And of course, you're working a normal day Thursday too. You can count that in that time of like your primary work days. It's just depends on what time you want to be able to leave on Thursday. People who are part of the 40-hour teacher work week or who have been experimenting with productivity for a long time may be able to leave school right on time on Thursday and on Friday. If you're not there yet, you may need to stay late on Thursday and maybe bring some work home on the weekend to do on Sunday night. But you have to have a set cutoff point. My weekend begins at blank time on Thursday. Might be 5 p.m., might be earlier, might be later. Whatever time that is, when you decide that week, I'm done with schoolwork. 5 p.m. Thursday. Maybe next Thursday at 6 p.m. Doesn't always have to be the same. But do have that cutoff time where you're not going to do anything else outside of your contractual hours again until Monday morning. You're going to work only what's required on Friday, no extra. You're off Saturday and you're off Sunday until Sunday night. So I want to hear how this goes for you. I hope that this is making sense. There may be some people listening to this like, I don't get it. This doesn't make a difference for me. But those of us who really experiment a lot with productivity hacks and just changing the way we think about things, just reframing situations, you might really like this. And I hope you'll experiment with a different way to think about your work. I hope you'll try out this idea of starting your weekend on Thursday evening and going till Sunday evening. Make Friday as fun as possible. Give yourself little things to look forward to. Even if it's just like stopping for your favorite coffee or a breakfast sandwich or something on the way to school. Something that you wouldn't normally allow yourself to do on a daily basis, do it Friday. And really think about Monday to Thursday afternoon being the bulk of your work week. Monday to Thursday afternoon is when you go hard. You give 100%. You are all in. You do whatever needs to be done. Work the longer hours if you need to. Be totally focused on school, and other things can be on the back burner if needed. And then you have your 3-day weekend. You can truly enjoy yourself. You can take care of your physical, mental health, your relationships, your home. Work hard, play hard, right? And giving your all from Monday to Thursday is not nearly as daunting when you know you're going to get a true break. You're going to have time for home projects. You're going to have time to rest. You're going to have time to actually take a real break for yourself almost every single weekend to do this 3-day weekend idea. You know, Lisa Woodruff and Laura Vanderkamp have both talked about how Monday morning to Thursday afternoon is the same amount of hours as Thursday evening to Monday morning. So if you think about it like that, you think about, really focusing on schoolwork from Monday morning till Thursday evening, That's literally only half your week. That gives you the other half of the week to focus on other things. From Thursday evening to Monday morning, that's the same amount of time. So you could, if you wanted to really extend this concept, you could even think about half of your week is devoted to school primarily, and the other half of the week is devoted to the other important things in your life primarily. I mean, that's really radical, right? To think about Monday to Thursday evening, I'm focused on school, and then the rest of the time, I'm able to attend to other priorities. That's even more liberating, right? Then it no longer feels like you spend all your free time on school. That's really the mindset that we're trying to change. Because frankly, it's not true. Like, you're not spending all of your time on school. And there are little things that you can do to make it not feel like that. You don't want to feel like you're working 24/7 or you're not getting a break. And giving yourself that break, even if it means really working hard from Monday morning to Thursday evening, means that you're not going to feel like your whole life is being a teacher, that you actually have a life apart from work. I want you to try it and let me know how it goes. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be worth it.